All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition, once again, of a late night on chain. It is your friend who definitely needs a little bit better lighting. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Oh my god, that looks terrible. Hold on, let's just. Still looks bad. Why do I looks like I have laser eyes? Whatever. It's late night somewhere. Late night somewhere with a different spiel. Anyways, what's going on, guys? I am Bill. Back at it. Give me a second, though. I don't like this. A little bit better. A little bit better. I don't look as crazy. I do have the crazy hair, but I don't look as crazy. Anyways, what's going on, guys? I am Bill. We are back at it. Another day, another dollar. That is the motto of the show, Late Night on Chain, where we talk to the best builders, personalities, liquidity providers. Today, it's going to be a good show. We have the TA team on, and I'm excited to talk about them. And we also have Arcus on, who is basically anything that you're trading right now on Robinhood. It's because they are now directly partnering with Robinhood Crypto to provide the deepest liquidity across the interwebs. So looking forward to having them on as well. Like I said, we talk to everybody. We talk to everybody. As long as you're doing some cool stuff, I want to talk to you. So we're gonna bring up TA very soon. Just want to give a couple shout outs to our sponsor for the month of August. That is Easy A Kickstart. They've had some FUD going on with what they're going on in the ecosystem, but they're here to build. They're here to provide a place for the best AI tech builders on Solana. Check them out, Easy A. Three more shout outs. Got to give a shout out to Banker. Banker provides the agentic tooling on Base. Actually, Base is looking really good too as well. It's I think I just saw Base has Base batches 4 coming in. I think the grand prize is top 10 get like I think the grand prize is like $1 million. So we got to make sure we talk about that. But yeah, if you're building a business on Base, no better place than Banker. But agentic tooling, especially in AI, agentic tooling allows agents to operate autonomously. And they're also on Sushi and Robinhood. They do it all. So if you're into memes, hey, Robinhood's got that for you with Banker. If you're into AI tech stuff on Base, they got you too. 2 more. We got Buildify Win. They are a launch pad that's multi-chain, trying to change the game. It's a very difficult sector to be in, but they're trying their best. They're honest builders, providing the tooling for you to deploy whatever it is you want. Check them out. Buildify Win. They just launched on Base also. And DTF Finance are liquidity providers who are taking an interesting spin. It's not just relying on volume to deliver RWAs. They also then reinvest fees into liquidity pools to increase treasury management to then give better yield to their holders. Check out DTF. All right, let's just get right to it. Let's get right to it because we got a banger of a show. That's what we do here on this show, and that we are going to bring Tomek from TA. How you doing, sir?
How are you doing? Pleasure to meet again, Bill.
Yes, actually, we impromptu got to meet the other day because your community was just rated me hard, and I was like, "What is this TA thing? Who are these people?" It's like crack addicts. I loved it though, and we got a chat. Wanted to bring you on the show, but yeah, talk to me, Tomic. What is TA? Because TA fun, it's very volatile. It doesn't matter. We don't care about price. We just care about builders and the theme. What exactly are you guys doing with the TA fund?
Yeah. As you probably saw, as the price section was kind of going down, but we are basically building still everything. The thing with TA is that it's taking time. It's taking time because we are trying to run it as a basically non-profit organization, as a whole company with all the assets of marketing, of learning aspect, of the technology that we built, and of the whole ecosystem of giving and spreading info about Trump accounts in America for better future of the children. So it takes time to set up everything, and yeah, we are on track. And in upcoming months, there will be a lot of updates.
What is the goal though? So obviously, I know some people, myself included, when I first saw TA Fund, I was like, "Is this the Trump thing? You guys affiliated with Trump?" It's not, right? What exactly is the goal? Is it just to fund kids' educations, or what exactly are you trying to do? The mission?
Yeah, so first of all, let me just explain what Trump accounts is, because Trump accounts are basically better compounding accounts. Right now, whenever your kid is born, you usually put money for him on compounding account when he's 18. He just had some head start, but those accounts usually have like 1% a year, not even that, which is super low. So Trump came up with basically solution which goes against inflation. So you have something like compounding account. It's called Trump accounts, and those money that you put in for your kids are being invested in index stocks, for example, S&P 500, which averages like 9%, and it goes with the economy of US. So the amount of interest is so much higher on average than the normal compounding account. Plus, basically, US, whenever newborn was born since I think 2024, they give them top up of $1,000 to those accounts. But kids prior to that didn't get anything. So the mission of Trump accounts is basically, first of all, spread awareness about Trump accounts. So more parents who have newborn can apply. We did some surveys, we did some studies. Probably like 9% of Americans know about it. So there is a lot of room to learn. Plus, all those people before 2024, like those kids that were born, they have zero top-ups from the government. So if they register on our website, they can basically win prizes, get some money, and the compound of average of the index, like basically the 500 becomes like 2.7K after 20 years. So it's interesting.
Wow. So basically, it's just the power of
Yeah.
compounding interest. You put in money and let the money work for you every
Yeah,
year.
but the kids can't take it out till they are 18. So they get much better head start than from normal account.
If you're at 18, is it, how does it work? Is it tax? You still have to pay
Yeah,
taxes on
it's
depreciation?
basically tax free
Okay.
for them. So that's why it was also built like, so they have like real head start, not paying 50% of that instantly. And also when you are working in certain companies, they can basically do tax write-offs to donate to those accounts for you up to 5K a month, 5K a year. So it's also good for companies for tax write-offs if the parents are basically interested working for them.
Interesting. Okay, so now let's revert back. So that's the thesis of the Trump account. Obviously, it's there to empower children at a young age to obviously make better financial returns. Now, how does this interplay with the crypto project on Pawns on Robinhood that you guys launched? Because how is this working? What's your goal? Because one aspect a lot of projects rely on is volume to deliver fees, higher volume fees, but volume always dies. In my opinion, it's you can't just, and I'm sure you're aware, you can't just rely, if your project, you can't rely just on fees for the future growth of your project because attention's fleeting. How are you guys thinking about this? How are you guys thinking about having money to fund the accounts through TA?
First of all, we want to like show a kind of new ecosystem on a company level that basically non-profit organization can be also partly funded from those fees, because basically the meme coin buying power comes with the exposure on social media. So more exposure you have, more, let's say, like free money you have to donate. So that's first mechanism we want to like introduce to the public. And also when we needed some start with those fees and everything, we have around $60K in treasury right now to work with. And the company will work the same way as any non-profit. You can basically donate, you can join any of our events, and we will try to spread the knowledge about TA fund outside of crypto and in the real world, mainly in a, for example, MAGA community and Trump supporters, because they usually know much more about Trump accounts than the general public.
Has anyone really done this? To my knowledge, I think of only two charity type coins, you and someone else through Louis and what he's doing. Are you aware of, even on any chain, are you aware of something like this being created for the benefit of children?
Yeah, I mean, none of the charity coins was basically done this way, that they settled full company, plus they are doing things for children. I haven't heard of any. I did some research. There weren't almost any. And if they were purely on blockchain. Like none of them ended as a whole organization and whole project. So I think we are like brand new in this field. And another interesting thing that I want to mention, because usually when you donate money to some nonprofits, for example, I mentioned like donate kids to Africa. Usually the nonprofits at the end it's a business, so they take like you donate $100, but to the children goes probably like $10 because they put it as a running cost, as a service cost. They need to fly people there, they need to fly the supply there and everything. But in the Trump accounts, there is not much of a running cost basically. So most of the nonprofits, they are putting hands away from it because they can't like hide their work and their paychecks behind it. So the field here is like super empty, and we basically want to fill the gap.
What exactly then drew you to? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think there's a massive opportunity to create something of this, which is again at the end of the day for the benefit of society. And as I said the other day, it's very interesting the concept of your project because it's one that has the potential to reach outside of our crypto chambers, the crypto chambers that we call Crypto X. In order for project to really go mainstream, we need to target the mainstream audience, target the people who literally don't care about crypto. So I do see the potential in that. How are you looking at that? How are you looking? What's your go-to-market strategy when it comes to onboarding, Grandpa Sally's kid, Uncle Tony's nephew, who literally don't know anything about crypto Twitter, and maybe these parents don't know. What is the path to getting people to know about what you guys are doing with TA?
Mm-hmm. So, as I said, we are aiming like mainly on outside crypto people in the marketing. What we have already started is some content on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, basically donating people on the streets with recording it with meta glasses and getting honest reactions. And during those reactions, because it's with parents and kids, there are some funny fails, funny questions. It's basically like type of viral videos. Then we are also going to attend a lot of those like spaces and events around US where usually families attend. We already attended one in Texas, and there was like 10,000 people attending. We had a booth there, and just spreading the awareness about TA. You can win some prizes, and people post it on social media, and it circulates. And like I have never been, for example, doing marketing for Facebook because it's usually for parents, but this is also like the best fit for us. And we are aiming basically on like mothers, and mainly like mothers which appreciate what we're doing, and they send us the video, the live content, the answers when they win, and everything, so we can use it and push it further.
So when you're going to these events in Texas, for instance, what's the general sentiment? What's the sentiment around what you guys are doing? Are people receptive? Are people skeptical? What's the overall vibes?
Yeah, so we are not fully pushing like the coin or the crypto part of it because we want to just onboard people on whole mission. We tell them the mechanism, like one of the mechanisms how we make money is this crypto coin. But yeah, the public is super interested in it. They think that US children need better compounding accounts because the poverty is getting better. People can't afford houses and everything, and those kids like need a head start. So they love what we're doing, and the returns are mainly positive.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I think that's good to know that it's positive because you want to have the right sentiment to push, but you don't want to shove it down their throats where, because again, crypto a lot of times has a negative connotation. So it's good that the receptive is. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, we got a few more minutes live late night on chain with Tomic from TA. I'm surprised. Where are your community? They rated so hard the other day. Now they're super quiet, but hey, I guess it's too early in the morning for them. Got to get them in next time. How are you approaching things now? So as a entrepreneur, obviously it's not easy to watch the charts, even though you have a mission and we it's just human nature, when the price is down, it's a little defeating. How are you handling these things? Even though price at the end of the day doesn't really matter short term, but from your perspective, how do you handle the red days versus the green?
Mm-hmm. We are mainly focusing on the mission, so I'm not watching that much on chart. Like from crypto, I'm kind of retired, having some startup and hedge fund as well. So like I'm settled off well, and most of the team is as well. So we are just trying to keep the good momentum in the community, explain to them that we are a long-term project, and yeah, and basically most of the people that stayed, they are super positive about it. They see the vision and they understand that to make all those things happen and settle it down, it takes few months.
It does.
So
Yeah. It does take time. It does take time, I
yeah,
think.
and by the way, most of our community, they are like US, and now it's like Wednesday, so they are working right now, so that's maybe why the attendance is a little bit lower. The
Doesn't
only
matter.
problem with our project is that Trump accounts work only in US, and it's fully US based thing, and half of our team is not in the US, so it's harder for us to make a content, to approach some people like in person, etc. But we are working on it, and we are thinking to create under TA fund something similar, like worldwide. But it will be a lot of brainstorming and planning what we can even achieve, because we want to basically take this as a like 1 to 2 years side project and see how it goes, and yeah, we will see how it ends up.
I think a couple things to highlight there. It's number one, it's great that, congratulations for the financial success that you've achieved. But that's good because you have the understanding and knowledge of what it takes to make a project grow. You're not some basement dweller who's just like in their mom's kitchen. You're somebody who's a professional who understands organizations and operations. So that's number one. And I think, yeah, you have the right mindset. The long-term mindset for any builder has to be there. You just do. If you're just focused too much on short-term price, you're going to fail because, attention's fleeting. I actually do have some ideas, Tomic, that I'm going to share with you offline that I think can really target a huge brand evangelism of holders involving my community. So I would love to just kind of chat with you offline because I do feel that you have something unique. And like I said, projects that are able to capture outside crypto interest, very few, very, very few. And I think you are one that has the potential to really make an impact. And I think that's something unique.
Yeah, hopefully we will make it through. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because like most of the team, we are in crypto for, let's say, 5 years plus, all of us, and we have been doing memes, we have been doing NFTs all those season, and most of the people have made like enough money. And for us right now, it would be super like scary for the reputation when you have real life company to push some kind of meme coins. So that's why we basically agreed that we want to do something on a more company based level, even then it's tokenized, but to make something which is like more real world, so the reputation can be lost with it, because we've seen that a lot of celebrities, a lot of projects, even some of them racked and everything, the reputation can get really bad when the price action goes bad on the chart. So that's why we take it as a company, not as much as a meme coin.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And actually, Bill, our communities and the X live chat. I guess for some reason I'm not looking at the X live chat. So shout out to you guys. We like to see that. We like to see that. Hold on one second. Let me just see something. Okay. Well, anyways, guess it's not showing up. All right. Well, listen, my friend, we do got to go. Do you have any last words? We have 1,191 people tuning in live late night on chain with TA. Do you have any last words, sir, for the community?
Yeah, I hope that I will attend again when in like a few weeks or a month when we have much more updates. Thanks for all the people that are basically supporting us through all of this bloodbath on chart and seeing the mission, seeing the long-term success and belief in us. And hopefully we will go on more interviews, spread the awareness much more. And yeah, thank you so much, Bill, for attending this. And hopefully we will make some update in a few weeks or a month.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I said, I have ideas for you because, like I said, I think you're a great guy. I think you're very accomplished, and I like the mission of TA. So I'm going to share some ideas with you. I'll ping you on Telegram. But yeah, we're going to make sure we have a couple clips made from this episode for you to share with your community. And my friend, keep on pushing, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, and have a great live stream. Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, that's Tomek from TA. Absolutely love the idea of charitable based tokens that are allowing it to go to children to better fuel the growth. Like I said, trading fees are just one aspect. So teams need to start thinking of different ideas to work their way up there. And I think they have an idea and they have a vision. And I think that's half the battle. That is half the battle. All right. We're gonna wait. I think we have let's see. We have Arcus coming on in a second, so we'll wait for them. Looking forward to talking more Robinhood stuff. Like I said, in order for Robinhood to have liquidity, you need people to provide it, and they are the ones who do so. So looking forward to having them. And let's see. Yeah, so we'll just tune in. Oh, there he is. I think Eddie's here for Arcus, so we'll have him on in a second. Yeah. So, anyways, I think, like I said, I think if you're a project out there, I think one of the go-to market strategies that you should have is how do we reach outside this crypto bubble? How do we get people to care about our project? Because if you only think about the crypto bubble, attention is very, very fleeting. You're cool one day and then on to the next. So outside world, you have to figure that out. And I think TA has an idea. So let's see how they do. But regardless of them, let's bring up our next guest. Shout out again to the 1,400 plus people tuning in, guys. At least 2,000 every episode. If we don't get 500, I am a failure in my mom's eyes. Don't want that. Eddie, please make sure I have more than 2,000. How are you doing today, sir? From Marcus.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well. I got my coffee. I got my hair. I can't complain. But listen, Eddie, in all seriousness, welcome to the show. For those that might not be too familiar with Arcus and their role in I guess Robinhood and in general, why don't we just start with the beginning? What exactly does Arcus do?
Definitely. Arcus is a decentralized exchange on Robinhood chain. What we offer is access to stock tokens that are backed by Robinhood liquidity, as well as perpetuals, primarily focused on equities, though we do offer crypto as well. So what we really offer is basically, on one hand, 0% 24/7 trading for stock tokens through Robinhood, and on the other hand, perpetuals DEX that's kind of based on the architecture from a like a next generation system that we made specifically for Robinhood chain.
Interesting. Okay, so let's start with stock tokens. RWA stock tokens, it's all the narrative. It's, in my opinion, it's, first mover advantage, first cycle. Robinhood was the first, in my opinion, to introduce it. Then, you saw Binance and you see Solana, now you have Base. And it's exciting. People really enjoy this new paradigm. Why, in your opinion, why is stock tokens the talk of the town? Do you think it's just because it provides access? Is it something unique? Is it just something more? What are your thoughts on stock tokens in general?
Definitely. I think it's like a number of things. One thing is certainly access, like you said. Like now, kind of anyone on decentralized rails can use stablecoin or crypto to buy stocks. And so that I think is like really important. Another one that it offers consumers is definitely 24/7 trading. So we see a lot of our trading activity outside of regular hours, and that's been popular, of course, for perpetuals for like a long time. But stocks, the liquidity is still existing during the weekends, allows people to trade on things. Like a lot of companies specifically hold their earnings announcements till after trading hours. Sometimes war announcements are on the weekend. That was like famously what happened with oil on Hyperliquid in Q1. And so sometimes things happen where people want to get in and out of positions. They want to trade. And so those are, I think, like the two major things. A problem that we're working on, which I think will be very compelling soon, is definitely breadth. So right now we offer 200 stocks backed by Robinhood's one-to-one stock issuance on Bitstamp. We have hope to offer closer to 10,000 by the end of the year, which would be much more broad than, and that'll be pretty much every equity that would be really valuable. Another thing I think we're excited about is connecting different markets. So right now, stock tokens have predominantly been like American stocks, and the offerings that you see on other platforms are heavily American. But Robinhood is one of like the few entities with multiple licenses and multiple geographies. And so we're hoping to offer native access to other countries' stocks. So I think that will be really powerful because that will actually directly connect global markets in a way that would be advantageous to kind of Americans as well, assuming that stock tokens become legal in America.
Wow. So for those again that did not really understand, the eventual goal of Robinhood Crypto in with Arcus is providing liquidity and access to non-American stocks. So for instance, if I'm a US guy, which I am, if I want to invest in some sort of Japanese stock or something, this potentially could be the route. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly. So today, a lot of Americans, access international stocks through ADRs. Sometimes those instruments don't track the price correctly because those instruments basically involve like an American entity holding an international entity and then trying to balance the price to make sure it's like the same. Famously for a lot of Korean names, like SK Hynix, it was like a big one. SK Hynix was a big ADR that was released, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in America to like a lot of fanfare because there was a lot of demands. It's a big AI company. That has a lot of limitations. And so when you have direct access, it's the same principle. If you have direct access to where price is discovered, where liquidity is like the deepest, then you get much better pricing. And so if you want to be an investor, we want people to have the best price when they buy and when they sell.
Interesting. Okay, so just hear me out here. Obviously, and I'm curious to know your perspective from a consumer standpoint, crypto enthusiast. I see the massive appeal. 24/7 liquidity trading, access to global markets potentially or all around the world. Eventually being able, and I don't think we've hit the scale yet, DeFi lending protocols within the stock tokens, which I think are eventually going to be a big thing. So I see the appeal. Now, from a regulator's point of view, or if it's a traditional stock, NASDAQ or whatever, like from the traditional world, what's the benefits do you think for them that they're going to want to see this succeed and get their stock on chain? Is it just global markets? Is that something that's more appealing to, I don't know, a random stock who wants, our company on the S&P who wants to do this? What's the appeal to them?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that are really interesting. One thing is certainly more retail access. So I think that's good for everyone, essentially having more people in the world have access. We are specifically looking at a lot of the countries internationally, for example, where stablecoin adoption is really high, because that started to be like quite reasonably widely adopted in certain geographies in the emerging markets. And so we think that if people are holding a lot of stablecoin or they're getting paid in stablecoin, using that stablecoin to invest in like the S&P or in individual stocks would be like a good use of capital. And that will make obviously the flow better. So a lot of institutions, market makers especially, will even pay for retail flow because it's easier to market make with that flow. So I think that's like growing the pie. That's like the real version of the world that it makes like a lot of compelling sense for people to onboard to tokenize stocks. I think the other question around the different instruments that might be valuable to institutions, we're probably like earlier on the curve on. I think we're focused specifically on retail and expanding the pie because we believe American stocks outperform a lot of other indices. Everyone knows that some currencies internationally don't appreciate or depreciate really aggressively depending on inflation. So that's been like the driver of stablecoin. So we definitely think that equity ownership, like stock ownership of American stocks or equities, is another curve behind the stablecoin curve, because now all these people are holding and getting paid in stablecoin, but that stablecoin deflates at the same rate that American cash does. And so the classic answer is call it Robinhood for everyone or Robinhood International. Give all these people access to American equities that don't have maybe local brokerages or local products that allow you to purchase equities, especially equities that perform at over the last like 10 or 15 years, 2 to 5% above the international growth market. So
I think that's fantastic. And by the way, shout out to the live X chat. I didn't realize. Shout out to the TA community, everyone tuning in. You guys are really active in there. For whatever reason, the stream was not showing it, but I appreciate each and every one of you showing up. All right. So Eddie, now let's turn to Arcus and choosing to build on Robinhood, right? You guys made a concentrated bet to choose to build on Robinhood, provide the liquidity depth for Robinhood, stock tokens. Why? What is it about Robinhood, especially since it's a very new chain? It's never had a track record in crypto, obviously in the traditional world it does. Why Robinhood? Why build on Robinhood?
Definitely. I think there were a couple different reasons. One reason was that we really believed in the vision that Robinhood had around introducing the world to equities and opening up access. So I think on a vision level, we were like aligned. We met with the team obviously in detail, and we spent a lot of time talking through like the operating kind of what it would look like. And so we felt pretty strongly that the operating team was very strong, meaning that they were good at executing, high integrity, etc. And then finally, of course, we aligned on commercial agreements. So in the commercial agreements, Robinhood invested in the company. They provide liquidity. That was like a big one because we kind of felt that a lot of the offerings, say like going to like a different chain, were like less differentiated because there wasn't maybe infrastructure that the company itself was providing. I don't need to name specific names, but to kind of help the companies get off the ground that are building on top of the chains. Whereas Robinhood had like a clear advantage. Their vision was stock tokens being like the primary driver of international like retail adoption. They were going to back up the truck on liquidity because it's backed by Robinhood's order book. So if you really want to move size, you're basically linked directly into the best bid offer in the American markets. And that made it so there was like a rational reason why it would be really good for consumers to use this product as stock token adoption increased, because the pricing would be the best. So
now, since you are working with Robinhood, is it just then strictly you are only with Robinhood? Is say Base comes in and they needed a partner to do it? How does Arcus work in that regard? Is it just like, hey, one chain, you got me? Or is it like, hey, let's go, let's take it all down?
I think philosophically, we believe that you have to build like a really good product for a specific audience before you want to try and like bite off more. And so at the moment, we're really focused on building the best product on Robinhood chain, because we think that the liquidity capability is the reason why people would really want to use it, right? And so if you want stock tokens, we really want to be the best place to be able to buy and sell those. We have other exciting capabilities that we think we'll be bringing on chain that will also be powered by Robinhood in the future. So I can't talk too many of them yet, but I think those will also be really exciting. So
feel free to tell me offline and give me as much alpha as you want, bro. My lips are sealed.
Yeah, so far we've been really excited about the capabilities that Robinhood chain brings to consumers. And so I think you mentioned this a few minutes ago, but most of the alignment was around the idea that we wanted to really expand the pie. And so if expanding the pie along like a specific user value, I think was a much easier thing to focus on than kind of going broader and having, spending a lot of time iterating ideas that may or may not work. So that's why we also thought that the vision was really compelling. Like the idea that American stocks grow faster, create wealth, which is really like the underlying reason why I think a lot of people use crypto products, is accumulation of wealth and building their wealth. And so we wanted to make that more accessible and more stable.
Interesting. All right, so let's turn the attention to perpetual futures because that's also another interesting topic to me. And they've traditionally been associated with crypto. I mean, you have per platforms out there, buy, longs, short, whatever assets. Why do you think that model, specifically perpetuals, makes sense for equities?
Yeah, definitely. I think equities, perpetuals make a lot of sense, partially because they're just like a much simpler instrument. So the reason why there's like a number of reasons, I guess, why perpetuals for crypto was a lot more attractive to retail than say options. Part of the reason is certainly complexity. So you're kind of taking like time risk on the perpetual side, like volatility risk, as opposed to trying to price in volatility on the option side. So I think that it makes sense that equity perpetuals would be an easier way to express a like price view. This has been shown kind of by leverage ETFs. So leverage ETFs, are like 3x. There's like a famous like 3x buy ETF that people buy when they think things are going to go up. And that's like essentially the same product. So we do think that there's like evidence that if people were like educated on equity perpetuals, it's an easier product to use and it's an easier product to trade with. Of course, the other thing is people love perpetuals in a market that's going up and you don't love it as much in a market going down. Retail is naturally very long biased. So we also kind of felt that on average, equities, of course, perform better on individual years in terms of volatility than crypto products. So having both, I think, allows people to go back and forth. They can trade crypto perpetuals in a bull market year for crypto, and in the other years, maybe trade equities.
Interesting. Let me ask you this too now, because like you have a firsthand seat as to what's going on, and you probably have an idea where the future is going. This world's kind of crazy. Where do you envision traditional brokerages, crypto, on-chain assets? Do you feel that they're all coming on chain? Do you feel like the end of the traditional world is just it's inevitable that now we're just moving one direction? Do you think there's going to be still a world where both live? Where do you see the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years going with equities on chain versus in traditional world?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe it's like a little nuanced. So my belief is that the products that have the best user experience, the best, user value tend to win. And so I do think that in some markets, traditional brokerages have done a really good job. Meaning, for example, like Robinhood has done a really good job winning stocks in America. Like the zero fee stocks, having market makers pay for it was like a really compelling value prop to users. And so in the US, for example, when we talk about stock tokens, it doesn't make as much sense for the same reasons because Robinhood exists, it's easy to use. Broadly speaking, there's not a huge amount of user value left on the table, is what I would say. But I think in other areas of the world or in other markets, like decentralized brokerages make a lot more sense. So for example, is like every emerging market going to have their own Robinhood? That's not like super likely, is my opinion. In the developed world, it's like a little bit different. So for example, in say like Korea or the UK, where financial markets are pretty advanced, there is a lot of companies offering access to American stocks. And so in those markets, for example, we think maybe perpetuals would be like a more differentiated offering. So I do think it's market by market, like financial system by financial system, where there's enough value for users to want to use one versus the other. I don't necessarily think that it's like bi-directional, that it kind of like definitively moves one way or the other.
Yeah. And so then let's put on your thinking cap and Arcus's, I guess, your North Star. Where does Arcus fit into this whole equation in terms of like where you want to see yourself as things are coming on chain? What is your guys' internal North Star when it comes to bringing on-chain equities to Robinhood and beyond?
Definitely. We view two things as really important. One thing is certainly the number of people like trading are buying and selling on a time period basis. And the other one is the amount of assets that our user base holds or has kind of like acquired through the products. I think both of those are pretty good litmus tests because on the one hand, you want a lot of individuals to have access. And on the other hand, people kind of think broadly know that trading like exchanges are very top heavy. And so the larger users in terms of an AUM basis tend to overrepresent when it comes to the amount of like trading. So the way I would look at it is in a year or two, I think it'd be really great if we had a substantial presence in a couple, hopefully like many international markets. But I would like to be like winning in at least say like a couple developed markets and a couple developing markets where we think that we've gotten the value prop right and people are accumulating wealth by using either bank on ramps or stablecoin on ramps, depending on the market, to US equities. And then I would also like to believe that for like advanced users who want to have different types of exposure, that they're able to learn about perpetuals and use them in a way that they can express their desire to accumulate wealth.
Interesting. And so, yeah, ambitious goals, but I think if anyone could do it, it's you guys. We got a few more minutes, but I do want to obviously get to know. I also like to talk about you as well. Get to know the people behind the scenes. But real quick though, from your perspective, obviously people are doing some innovative things on chain with equities, especially. Has there been anything that, not naming projects, but just in general, anything that's caught your eye as to, wow, this is even more innovative than I thought? Anything that people are building that you think is prime for the next evolution of where this is going?
I think the classic answer would be that I was pretty surprised by the trading denominating meme coins against US equities.
Interesting.
I think like what happened there was that people wanted to denominate against an asset that may go up. And so, for example, instead of denominating against Ethereum as like the base case for a liquidity pool, they're denominating against like NVIDIA stock.
Sure.
And in that instance, you kind of combine like this like very volatile asset, call it like a meme coin, with an underlying asset that has value and maybe increasing in value. And so I think it was like an interesting mix of user adoption, which has historically been like the interesting piece of meme coins, is it drives like a lot of user adoption through speculation, and bootstrapping ownership and usage of equities. So I think that was probably a few weeks ago one of the more compelling innovations people had done. And so, yeah, we're actually working now on helping provide liquidity on a lot of those things, because we are, for many stock tokens on Robinhood Chain, the best place to buy and sell them. So
Yeah, actually, they've now gone a little bit one step further. So pairing the LP to a stock token is one thing, but now people are going further where you have a meme, you pair it to a stock LP, and then you pay dividends in that stock. So for holding, you take like the tax. So it's basically like NVIDIA, for instance, you're now paired, but now you're buying NVIDIA off the market through the fees, distributing to holders. And it's just like this whole, and actually for a lot of people, that's their first opportunity to own RWAs just by holding a token. So I think it's super fascinating. And I would argue, I mean, this is just my opinion, I would argue that this is going to become commonplace. I truly do believe, because now you're creating an incentive for people to hold a meme coin, for instance, versus just fluctuation up and down. Now you have, hey, I'm earning passive yield. It's really, really fascinating how things are progressing. Eddie, real quick though, I want to get to know just a brief about you. That's why we do things a little different. You could have chosen literally anything. Obviously, you guys have been incubated by DYDX, but you literally you're a very articulate man. You're very knowledgeable. You probably could be sipping a pina colada on a beach somewhere, yet you're choosing to build Arcus, provide the biggest global depth with stock tokens. Why? What inspires you to wake up every day to lead this company to become one of the big players in this emerging market? What motivates you?
definitely. I worked on a lot of consumer products early in my career. I started my career at Facebook, and I actually joined Facebook because I went to the sister high school where Zuck went. So I was on the consumer internet since like 2005, and so I kind of grew up, I think, with this idea that technology could enable people to have better lives, like connect better, grow their wealth better, all these things. I graduated the year that was like the first time Bitcoin reached like $1,000. And I remember being at Facebook and reading the articles about Bitcoin when I was there, and buying a miner and doing kind of, I think, the diligence on new technology. So I think what really excites me is I do really still believe that it's possible to build towards a better future with technology, even though I think recently it's become like more difficult. I started in technology in 2013, which is a much more optimistic time. I think today, 15 years later, 14 years later, it's more you have to be really thoughtful. And so technology just building anything is not necessarily positive. And so that's what I really wanted to find when I was starting to build Arcus, is I really wanted to find a vision of something that I believed in, that I believed would create positive value in the world, that would actually bring, use crypto technology in a way that brought wealth creation to people around the world. And I think we really found that with Robinhood. And so that's what's most exciting to me, is that I think every day we try and make the decisions that make a product that delivers on that, that really is trying to use the innovations that people have made around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to help give access, create wealth in a way that like intuitively makes sense. Because I think there's a lot of good to be done in terms of the consumer internet. And so I hope that what we do every day is a little step forward on that.
Amazing. Last question to you. 1 year from now, Robinhood Crypto, equities, what does the world look like at that point? Is that by then international markets trading 24/7? Is it global borrowing and lending against all your assets? How fast do you see things progressing, and what do you imagine life like August 19th, 2027 on Robinhood?
Yeah, I think I would like to believe that in a year, it's a high bar, but I would like to have 1 million people have owned and current, like 1 million owners of stock tokens. I think that would be like a really material step forward on unlocking and showing people that the technology is safe. You can build your wealth here. We're reliable and we're like trustworthy. So that's what I think would be really great. I think probably what it'll look like is there'll be a few emerging market countries, that probably the high stablecoin adoption countries, that where people start to realize that if they want to continue building wealth, they should be owning equities. And maybe that looks like, something simple, a person buying $100 of SPY a day, or, a week. Or maybe it looks something like synthetics, like what you described. Like maybe it's like lending, like yield powered by stock tokens. I'm not quite sure what it looks like. That's what we're trying to explore over the next few months. But yeah, I think a good line in the sand where it would represent success for me would be we powered 1 million people owning stock tokens, and that helping them build their AUM and seeing that number on like the wealth created by the platform go up every day.
It's an amazing goal. When you become like a big shot, like worldwide known, just remember Bill had you on before it all blew up. So I'm just like, but no, Eddie, I really appreciate you coming on. I think this is a very insightful piece. Like to me, especially RWAs, tokenized equities. I've had people from Coinbase on, and they all say the same thing. It doesn't matter what chain. They are all excited for the possibilities that tokenized equities brings to the table, not just for the crypto market, but what it means for the traditional world and how the traditional way of doing things is done. And I think that's exciting to be a part of it. And I'm excited to have the chance to speak to you, who's in the trenches per se. But thank you for coming on, man. I think the 3,200 people tuning in really appreciate it. We'll make sure we have a couple clips made as well. We'll tag your account. Please share if you don't mind. But yeah, dude, please, anytime you have any updates, let me know. I would love to do this again.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Eddie. All right. That is Eddie from Arcus. Very interesting conversation. Like I said, if this doesn't make you more bullish on tokenized equities and where things are going with RWAs, I don't know what to tell you. It is truly the path. Everything is going that way. Make no mistake about it. I'm beyond convicted. Hopefully you are too, or maybe not. I don't really care. But anyways, guys, that's it. That's your boy, Bill. We are out. We do this Monday through Thursday, noon PST. Today we started a little earlier. Tomorrow we have one more show, and then we're off. So if you guys like this content, please like it. Push it out there. I don't know. Follow me. Talk shit. Doesn't matter. All comments are good comments. And shout out again to the TA community. Man, I did not know you guys were in that chat. The Twitter chat is popping. Woo! Love it. Love it. Love it. That's what I'm expecting. I was like, no one's messaging on YouTube. We don't even promote YouTube, but we just have YouTube for distribution for projects out there. Extra word. You never know who's going to watch it. And plus, it's like replay value, because on X, you can't really replay it. You have to like scroll down. It's not easy. So there were some comments. I was like, damn, where's these chads at? TA. And then I open up the Twitter and it's just like crazy. So shout out to you guys. I hope to do some more stuff with you. I got some ideas. I do got some ideas to help push the TA narrative more. So I'll be speaking to Tomik. Anyways, until next time, guys. It's your boy Bill. Peace.